right. What about Patrick Bet-David? What do you think his selling style is?
So that's a good one. The first thing that comes up for me from what I've seen of him would be leader. I know he has so much success in so many different businesses. But one of my favorite stories I ever heard about him was a different podcast. And the gentleman was talking about, I can't remember if he just got out of prison or rehab. And he knew the person that he was going to call that was going to not make him feel bad, that was going to take him in, that was going to help him out, was going to be his friend, Patrick Bet-David. And he just talks about the empathy that he had, and he sat there and talked to him and helped to get him on a different path. So I guess it's still some leader, but there's definitely a lot of empathy in him as well.
Yeah. So whenever I hear that, it also makes me think of the protector, because to me, to be a protector, you have to have a little like dose of empathy. So it's like if you're too much, like if you're kind of, it's almost like the protector in some cases is like the hybrid between the leader and the servant, like meaning that if you because if in order to be challenging, well, if you're super challenging but you don't have any empathy, then you'll come across probably too dogmatic. That'll be like your shadow self. But if you can add in that empathy, then it's I'm now protecting you from your own insecurities, but I'm able to know you well enough that you're going to be able to hear me and you're able to get me.
Okay, so a healthy protector has to have a dose of empathy in it.
Yeah, that's what I would think.
Okay,
all right, well, let's see what ChatGPT says. So in this case, it says the primary style is a leader, and the secondary style is the protector.
All right.
But I love some of the quotes that he has here. In order to be, again, this is kind of cool. In order to be the leader, his decisiveness, his quotes are: "Stop waiting, execute your plan now. If I can do it, so can you. Success is a choice. Here's how I built a multi-million-dollar business. You can too." But then on the protector side, some of the language that he's been said to say as well, which is around the protector, is most businesses fail because they don't have a plan. Let's fix that. So he's being more aggressive. Here's the top 5 reasons entrepreneurs fail. Don't be one of them. Again, more of that protector side. I'm here to help you win and protect your dreams. I mean, they're just kind of jumping on that one. That might have been too easy for you there, ChatGPT, with that one. It's interesting. All right. What about let's change up a little bit. What about good old Elon?
Okay, so Elon, to me, I'm going to go protector for Elon, because when you talk about like all of the things, why he does the things he does, it's usually to protect somebody. He's like, oh, there's people floating around in outer space. No worries. Like I'll get them. Like I can take care of this. Or there's not, we need satellites over Ukraine. No problem. Like, let me protect this people. Even when he talks about why he decided to purchase Twitter and change it to X, was because he says he wanted to protect the freedom of speech. So I think he uses a lot of protector language, and he definitely justifies his actions, I would say, from the space of wanting to protect either a value or a group of human beings.
Yeah, I would 100% agree with you. So let's see what ChatGPT says. So ChatGPT says Elon his primary is a leader and his secondary is a protector, is what it says.
Okay, so they said leader?
They said leader first, protector second. And you and I are saying protector first, leader second, I'm assuming.
Yeah.
Yeah. So some of his leadership language that he uses is, we're going to Mars, accelerate the world's transition to sustainable energy. We must become a multi-planetary species. I mean, that's definitely very visionary, like directional leadership language, which is great. Now, on the protector side, though, he says stuff like, we need to become a multi-planetary species to ensure humanity's survival.
Correct. So I think it's the intention behind it. So yes, does he have direction? Of course. Nobody gets to that level of success without direction, but it's their why. What's the justification? What's the why? So I'm doubling down that you and I are correct and ChatGPT is wrong.
So here's some other things that he says. Tesla is about protecting the planet for future generations. I am concerned about AI being a major threat to humanity. We need safeguards. I mean, that's definitely the big thing for him there.
Do you feel weird right now that you're reading that quote from an AI source?
A little bit, but what's interesting though is so he was actually a part of the initial funding of ChatGPT or OpenAI, and then he disagreed with how ChatGPT's leadership was taking it, and he was concerned about the direction that it was heading, and so he actually pulled away from funding ChatGPT in the very beginning, and now he is creating his own version, which is Grok.
I had no idea about any of that.
Yeah, that's what he's doing because of that protector in him. Because he's concerned about the Terminator. He's concerned about
as am I, Elon.
as we all are. So he's concerned about that. So he's definitely jumping in to try to fix that problem.
I'm not even comfortable with you using ChatGPT right now.
Got
honestly.
It. All right. Well, we're gonna work through that. So and then of course his whole protector concept. I mean, he believes in freedom of speech, but he spent billions and billions and billions of dollars and way overpaid for X, Twitter at the time, for freedom of speech. So freedom of speech cost him billions, which is interesting. But that's all because of that protector in him that's so strong.
I like when you agree with me, you will take what ChatGPT says and then like change it to support us. But when you disagree, you read the other ones. I'm just pointing that out.
Okay, well, it is what it is. All right, and then let's do one last one. So, what about Brene Brown?
Oh, I think she's the most brilliant example of servant that there is. I mean, look at the titles of her books. She's
Power of Vulnerability.
Right. Yeah. Her TED Talk on that. Clear as kind. She has so much on empathy, so much on understanding where somebody is coming from. And then even think about like her content, I believe she gives it all away for free now, right? Online.
I didn't know that. It's awesome.
Well, I think so. I think, there was that time in the little speaker conference circuit where I think we happened to be at all the same thing. We saw it like 4 times in that year because we were speaking at all the same conferences. And I remember her, if it wasn't at that time, she was saying soon or at one point that she wanted to give her research and her everything away, that you can just go on. And if you want to learn about vulnerability and you want to learn about that, then you can go do that. But that's a very servant style as well, right? I just want to make sure that people have our content.
All right. Well, let's see what it says. Yep. So ChatGPT says that she is a servant first, and then a leader second. So language examples: vulnerability is the birthplace of innovation, creativity, and change. Empathy fuels connection. It's feeling with people, not for them. That's a huge servant thing. I'm going to read that again. Empathy fuels connection. It's feeling with people, not for them.
Feeling with people, not for them. I love it. Yes, I agree.
Which is similar to what we said earlier with that whole empathy is I get you, but empathy is to feel what you feel. That's what empathy is. And empathy is tough. I remember you and I had a conversation one time with a child therapist, and he actually said that to be a really, really good therapist, you have to have maximum empathy, which means you can only have 2 patients a day. And he said, and we were like, what? Why is that? And he said, because you feel what they feel. So you're feeling the stuff, you're feeling what they're going through in order to truly connect with them and be one with them. And he said, so I can only handle a couple people a day because I'm like one with them.
I mean, I can see that. There's definitely a difference in my energy at the end of the day when I'm working with a company that is number 2 in their industry and they're like, oh man, we've been number 2 for 6 years. We want to be number 1. Then when somebody comes and I'm working with a business owner that is running out of cash, running out of ideas, and is about to go under, and they're coming to us in desperation, right? I mean, I feel the difference just in those spaces at the end of the day.
But that's because your empathy is way more dialed in. Is that what you mean? Like you're more of an empath than I am.
Well, honey, I think everyone's more of an empath than you are.
Okay.
But no, yes, because I do. I genuinely, and I tease you on that, but I genuinely feel if I am talking to a business owner who is in fear or they are scared, I think I do a good job of not going totally into that place with them, but I do feel it. I'm not going to stay there with them because that's not helpful. That's not a resourceful place to be, but I definitely feel it.
Interesting.